Welcome to a Reseller's Journey Season 2. I'm your host, E08 Joey. Today's guest is an OG reseller. He has been doing it before social media came out. In addition, he has over 1,100 followers on Instagram. He goes by the name Sneakerrachi, but the streets call him Vern. Welcome, and thank you for being on the show.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. So, very excited. Vern's an OG. I want to thank Action Jackson for making this interview possible. He's been doing it for a very long time, and I felt that the audience will appreciate it. So, you ready to get started?
Most definitely.
All right. So, how'd you come up with your name?
Sneakerrachi was given to me by my boy DJ Safe. And this is back in 2006, maybe 2007.
Yeah.
DJ Safe at that time was, he was one of Fat Joe's DJs.
Okay.
And he lives in Miami. And basically, I like to wear flashy sneakers. And at the time, the only flashy pair of sneakers was the What the Dunks.
Okay.
And a jeweler made these casings that go over the end of your sneaker laces or your shoelaces, so they were called ends. And he only had two sets. One had diamonds and one was just gold. So I laced my What the Dunks from the top, so the laces would hang over the toe box of my What the Dunks. And then Sneakerrachi came about because Safe looked at you, or he looked at me, and was like, yo, we'll call you Sneakerrachi. And people wonder why Sneakerrachi. There was a pianist, a gay pianist named Liberace.
Right.
Liberace was always flamboyant with his outfits, his glasses, his jewelry. So I was flamboyant with the jewelry and the sneakers. So Sneakerrachi came about.
Nice. So were you in Miami?
Yeah, I was actually, it was myself, Gary from the Dunk Exchange, the first sneaker show, Curtis, he was also part of the Dunk Exchange. We were there for one of the Dunk Exchange shows. It was actually, I believe, the first Miami Dunk Exchange, to be honest with you. And we were sitting there eating one night, and Safe named me Sneakerrachi. And even if you Google that name, I pop up.
Nice. So what year is that?
I'm going to say 2007.
Wow. Okay, so it's been about 13 years since you had that name.
Yeah.
So where are you based out of, Sneakerrachi?
I'm based out of the city of Orange in Orange County.
Okay. Were you born and raised in Orange County?
Nah, I'm born in Brooklyn. I lived in Brooklyn until I was 12, and I moved to Costa Mesa when I was 12. So I've been in California for a long time, man.
You ever go back home to
frequently
to visit?
I went home last year 4 times.
Oh wow!
I go back so much. Sometimes I'm tired of it.
Yeah,
I'm not doing that this year.
Yeah. So do you like Cali because of the weather?
Oh, I love Cali.
Okay.
I'm not even going to deny it. I'm a Cali dude with New York tendencies.
Okay.
California is the greatest.
Cool. So are you reselling part-time or full-time right now?
Part-time, because I have a full-time job.
Okay.
But before this job, I was full-time. I used to have a collection of about 350 pair.
Yeah.
But I had a value of about 250,000.
Wow.
So I was living off my sneakers for years. I bought 2 cars from 16 pair of sneakers.
Wow. So at what age did you get started in this reselling game?
Oh wow, that's a good question. Wow, I don't even remember, because I had roommates that worked at Foot Action, and they had sneakers coming and going left and right. So I would always try to get the little kibbles and bits. I would haggle and hustle just to get sneakers to return to get that dope pair, and I'd wear them for a while, but people would always ask me where I got them. So I'm gonna say about 20
years old.
Yeah, about 20.
Is that when you taking the game serious? I mean,
at that time it wasn't even a reselling game, it was just something you did because you knew you had some sort of hookup. It wasn't called a plug at that time, it was just called, you had to hook up. My roommates worked at Foot Action, so I would buy the sneakers for a discounted price, whether they were sliding me the sneakers for free, and I would just flip them and make a hefty profit. At that time, $150 to $200 was serious money. Back in, we're talking 94, 95.
Dang. So at this point, you got the hookup, now they call it the plug.
Right.
Now, is there a lot of people that are doing this, or is this just kind of like some randomness?
Oh, yeah, this was random. I don't even think people were doing that back then, because people, it's more trendy now. People were buying sneakers just to keep and just to style in. I'm from the dance era, so I was a dancer, so I always liked to wear sneakers that had some sort of comfortable cushioning, so to speak. I liked rocking Pippins or some foam posits or even Air Max, because they were light but they were comfortable to dance in. So, but there weren't really many people flipping. And if
Okay.
they were, it wasn't as widely talked about because how would you know? There was nothing to see.
Yeah. So how are you? You get the shoe. The roommates are hooking you up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how are you moving them for that hefty profit? Like, because at this point, what are we in the 90s?
Yeah,
like,
we're talking like 95.
So 95, 96, no social media. I don't think even MySpace was even
Nah,
out.
nah.
I don't even know if Craigslist was even
Nope,
out.
none of that before
So,
that.
you know,
Clubs, because when you're in a club, there was a club back in the day that it was called Unity. That was the spot to go to for the underground dance scene.
Okay.
So when you go into Unity, you had to have your whole fit had to be on point.
Okay.
And of course, some people go from toe to head.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at the sneakers, you're like, yo, where'd you get those? Yo, I can get you a pair, but it's gonna cost you this. I'm not gonna tell where.
Right.
Nobody likes to tell where. Now you don't even need to know where you got them. Just Google it.
Right.
So
right.
when you go to the clubs, there was easy advertisement by wearing them.
So is there pagers at this point?
Yeah, there's pages.
Yeah, there's
but
pagers.
I don't even think
So
I
how
had
people
a
are getting
pager.
hold of you? So let's say you're in the club, there's
Sure.
one person says, "Yo, Vern, Sneakerrachi, this guy wants this shoe, this size."
I would give my number, which was probably my friend's number that had a pager,
Yeah.
or a home phone.
Okay.
It was to be either my home phone number or somebody I knew that had a cell phone, which was
Yeah.
rare back in '96. I don't even know if there were some cell phones back then. I just give my home phone number.
Okay.
They would just call me up, yo, V, I need these shoes, and just do a little transaction that way.
Yeah, and how many shoes are you selling at that point
Oh.
from the hookup? Like,
It was a lot.
let's say monthly. Like, how many pairs are you moving?
It wasn't a lot. I'm gonna say maybe 5, maybe
Five?
10.
Okay.
If that. I'm gonna say 5.
Yeah, and then when did it start to kind of just escalate from 5 to 10? And then upwards to where you get to the point where you
When
have
you-
so much inventory.
When I truly started needing money, because I was always bouncing around, never had a secure job or even a career job.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say when I reconnected with my boy DJ Long Island, who
Okay.
started the world's first sneaker show, the Dunk Exchange. I saw these kids walking around inside the Dunk Exchange in 2005 with 10,000 in their hand. They would walk around the sneaker show.
Yeah.
Now kids carry shoes trying to get someone to buy.
Right.
Back then they had money waving it in the air, and I'm thinking, yo,
Yeah.
this is big money.
Yeah, I remember that. I think I was at the first Dunk Exchange
Wow, in Brea.
in Brea,
Wow.
and I had a clothing line at the time,
Okay.
and we had a booth. So Action, Jackson, Gary, and so he said, "Hey man, we can get a booth there, some advertisement." And so we actually made a video. And at that point, I'm not into sneakers. I'm not into the Dunks, and when I watched that video where we're selling T-shirts, you just see like all walks of species, man.
Yeah.
Where it's like you got young guys, you got old guys, and I remember I think the PlayStation Dunks were like, I think at that venue was one of the most expensive ones there, but I really never understood the trading aspect. So are you a big trader when it comes to sneakers?
Nah, the only thing I'm trading is cash.
Cash, okay.
Cash for sneakers and vice versa. Nah, I'm not trading. I really don't like to buy used sneakers, but as I've gotten older, I've gotten away from getting a used pair of sneakers. Back then, I just wanted them so bad, so I would even do something which is frowned upon.
Yeah.
For example, I had the coveted pair of undefeated Jordan 4s.
Okay.
I got those in 2007. In my hotel room, Gary calls me up. Yo, I know you like Jordan 4s. Come to the show. There's a guy here selling some sneakers. I didn't know what they were.
Yeah.
I just saw that they were green with a little orange inside. They were size 11.
Wow.
But I knew, me being a size 12, I knew if I take the insole out, I rock them and they fit.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
Okay. Yeah. Why are they so against that?
Um,
Why is it a no in the industry?
Because you want a pair of shoes so bad that you're willing to mess up your foot, so to speak, to squeeze your foot in a shoe that's too small. There's dudes that still do it, but you don't know. I know a couple of dudes, and I'm not disrespecting or even saying anything bad. I'm not gonna put no names out there, but I know dudes now that still do that because they want the shoe that bad. I'd rather wait.
Yeah.
My mother always told me, if you don't have the money to afford it, and I revert that into, if it's not available now, it's not for you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think that's, and on the show I've talked about like, always wanting Jordans, the 11s, and when the 11s were going to come out, I was like, man, it's a hefty price. I got a family to support, but it's always been like a childhood dream because my parents couldn't provide.
Right.
So I said, let me be creative, and so now that I'm reselling, it's like I was able to use that money and then get them, and then once you get them, like how you treat them.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So what kind of role did the family play and for you becoming like a sneakerhead?
I grew up in Brooklyn,
Yeah.
and I grew up in an era, if you stepped on my sneakers, you either say sorry or get your ass beat.
Oh, okay.
And I was a little young dude back then, so they called me a little shorty.
Yeah.
And I had respect because just my family had respect.
Right.
So I never had any problems. But I did get robbed once. I got robbed for my shell-toe Adidas. Like, literally, some big dude picked me up, turned me upside down, took my sneakers off, and put me down, and I walked home with no sneakers. But my mother couldn't purchase me the sneakers that I wanted when we moved to California back in '86. I wore Pro Wings back when Payless Shoe Store was around.
Yeah, Payless.
And those sneakers only lasted, truthfully, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And my mother would tell me, make them last. I was embarrassed. So I would rip off the Pro Wing label because it was such a shitty shoe. You could literally just rip it off.
Yeah.
Or take a pair of knife or scissors, whatever, just cut that tag off.
Mm-hmm.
So as I got older, I ain't gonna lie, I started boosting. I started boosting from Sport Mart.
Mm-hmm.
I would go in the sneaker store, go in the back of the store and find a pair that I wanted. They didn't even have alarms on the shoe at that time. They just had this little plastic wire, so to speak. I would pop that off, put the shoes on, put my shoes in the box and walk out.
Yeah, man, you still see that today. I know, like on Instagram, like when people go to Burlington or Marshalls. I was just in another store and someone left their dirty ass sock, just hanging from the, on the shoe rack. But I think, people can have opinions, but everybody has different circumstances of what they got to do. It's funny because, if someone needs to feed their family and they steal food to feed their family, stealing is not a good thing. But then the situation is like,
you have no choice.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. So, did you have a particular business model, Sneakerrachi, when you're flipping these shoes? Or let's talk about particularly when you get to that $250,000 in inventory. Like, what was going through your mind at that time when you reached that milestone?
At that time, it wasn't really, I wasn't even thinking about reselling. I just wanted. I saw them, this is back in 06, about 06, 05, primarily 06. And I had money, so I was like, hey, I approached Curtis like, yo, I don't want nothing from you guys. I'm not trying to even use you guys. I just want to go on tour with y'all. At that time, Dunk Exchange was going to Dallas, Texas, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Frisco, of course, which is one of the biggest shows, and Miami and Boston, and of course New York. So I paid for my own way, in my own room, my own hotel, and every time we went to a city, this is back when you could literally go into a sneaker store, and if you like what you saw, you tell the person, look, let me get 3 or 4 or 5 pairs of those. And I literally would buy them and go to the post office and overnight them home. My girlfriend was pissed off because all these darn boxes. And it just, from 2006 to 2008, I accumulated so many pairs of sneakers. It just got out of hand.
So what made you like just get rid of it? And then now behind us, on people on YouTube, you can see what's left from the inventory. But like, what made you just want to sell off and then just kind of move a different direction?
I took a wrong turn in life. I made a wrong decision, I should say. And I was incarcerated. So from me being released, I had no money, And I reached out to Gary from the Dunk Exchange. The Dunk Exchange was doing good still. I had the Undefeated fours. I bought them for $3,000 in 2007. Here it is, 2012. I had worn them, but they weren't beat up. So I sold it for $3,000. I could have waited and made buku money. But I was impatient and I literally had no money. So I sold it for $3,000. And the dude bought them quickly. And I survived from 2012 until, I'm gonna say 2015, off of sneakers. I needed a car. There's a dude on Instagram that goes by Bike Man X. That's my man Gerald. And he's an avid Air Force One collector. I sold a pair of LeBron Dunkmans Air Force Ones. I sold Gerald my PlayStation Air Force Ones. I sold a pair of one of 3 in the world Saturday Night Live Air Force Ones that were made for LeBron. They were samples. And I sold those to Gerald and a few other pairs as well. And I bought a G35 cash.
Dang. Can you talk about, just getting samples? Can you talk about, like, how does one get to that point, Sneakerrachi, where, you're reselling, you got the hookup, but then to get samples of never being released, can you talk about, like, how you get to that level?
I don't want to put his name out there, but he's still a good friend of mine. I met this kid from an associate of his And I didn't know too much about the sneaker game because it had advanced so much, and I had money still. So they approached me. Actually, my plug approached me because of his friend, and his friend told my plug, let's rob him. Not physically, but as in price wise.
Right.
So my plug told me, look, my boy wants to rob you, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to deal with you direct, because I'll just say this much. His mother worked for Nike. She was the secretary for the dude who owned Nike.
Okay.
So my plug would go to the kitchen, which is where they design all the samples before they get mass produced.
Yeah.
He was cool with the guy who did all the sampling, making those samples. He was cool with that guy's son. His son would give them to my boy. My plug would sell them to me. I would get boxes of samples. I would pay $5,000, $4,000 for a box of unreleased butters. So that's how I met my plug.
Wow.
And we're still cool to this day.
Nice. Yeah. I think, one of the episodes that we just did not too long ago, just networking, man. Like, you really never know, like, when another person will open up the door for you. And I think in the reselling game, you can't look at everybody as competitors. You got to more look at colleagues. How can we work together? How can we collab? Is there opportunity for me? And, there was one of my buddies, Miggy. He came across some stuff from Burlington, and he just bought everything because, that's just what you do. And he's like, hey, you want some of this? I could break you off. So I got a little bit, and then now he's looking for something. I found it. I say, yo, man, do you want, a piece of the pie? And so I think it's very important that, people just have a different mindset.
Yes.
Or they look in a different lens where it's like, it's okay to network. It's okay to, get a plug in, and we all benefit. We all eat together. But earlier, one thing that really I kind of enjoyed hearing you say you were impatient. You just came out, from incarceration. You have this product. It's worth more, but you sold it right away.
Yeah.
Talk about why people get impatient in reselling.
Because they know they can get the money for it. If I had waited, I'm going to say I woke up the sneaker community by selling that pair for $3,000.
Yeah.
Because that exact same pair right now is reselling for $16,000 to $18,000.
Wow. Is that used or brand new?
Used.
Wow.
16, 18 grand. I offered the same guy $6,000 to $8,000 to buy them back, and his words were F no.
Oh, okay.
And he still has them.
Yeah.
He wouldn't sell them back. But knowing that you can get a couple of $1,000s for some sneakers that you initially possibly bought for a couple of $100, it's on your mind. I can get this money right now. But if you're patient, that's one thing that society is not. We want stuff now.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and I think Amazon, with the 2-day shipping, has really magnified the consumer as far as like, I can get it in 2 days. If I pay X amount of dollars, I can get it same day. And I think it's kind of crossed over to resellers because part of the community I'm part of, Sneakerrachi, one of the biggest like discussion is low ballers or undercutters. And everybody's always upset at these people because they don't agree with their business model or they're messing up the market. But I feel if you got a good product, if another man wants to get rid of something for cheap, that's on them.
Right.
You know what you have, what it's worth, it's gonna pay out.
Yeah.
So, before the interview, we're setting up the cameras and all that, and you showed me some shoes that have some history to them.
Yeah.
So I was hoping that you can grab them and we could talk about them, just kind of educate people. So, Sneakerrachi, tell us more about this shoe right here that you have in your hand.
This is the Galaxy Foamposites, and this very shoe right here is not this physical shoe, but the actual Foamposite Galaxy foams. This is the reason why we all have to stand in line with raffle tickets. There were unfortunate deaths that occurred when the shoe was released, and Nike took a stand and came up with the whole reasoning for raffle tickets to alleviate kids getting robbed. And it kind of still occurs, but now they have it to where you win a raffle, you pick your shoe up during the week, so no one's going to know when the shoe actually releases. So on Nike Sneakers app, sneakers come out on Saturdays. But if you win a raffle Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or even Friday, you go pick your shoe up at a specific time, so no one in the world is going to know that you got this shoe before it dropped on Saturday. Right. so it alleviates people getting robbed, if not killed.
Yeah, and I think, and there's, people that are listening to the interview that are old school. They come from that waiting in line, having to learn this whole process. And even with like bots out now, where they're just buying everything. I think some of these companies, they're starting to kind of, change the game a little bit. But it seems like when they change the game, other people adapt.
I was about to say.
Yeah, they adapt to the game.
Right.
But why are phone posits like in the reseller community, they resell very high?
It depends on which one.
Yeah, but why? Why out of like a lot of the other shoes do the phone posits sell so high?
Honestly, I'm not too sure. It's just that they don't release phone posits all the time, so it's a rare sneaker to see. Personally, I love the shoe, but it doesn't give in the sense of the structure of the shoe. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But whatever the material is, whatever this is, it doesn't give on your shoe. It's like almost like wearing some wood, so to speak.
Okay.
You put your foot in a clog.
Yeah.
That's made of wood. It's not comfortable.
Right.
I can only wear this shoe maybe for 2-3 hours.
Wow. You ever hoop in these?
Never hooped in these. I bought these specifically knowing that this is the reason why I gotta go up into somebody's store and get a raffle ticket.
Yeah. Do you ever? Is there any shoe like? I mean, I know you've been a sneaker guy for a long time, but is there any shoe that you will not part ways with?
Yeah.
Or is there several? Like, which one sticks out the most?
My LeBrons. I have let's see what I got here. My LeBron 112s.
Okay.
These are friends and family samples. Truthfully, for the right price, anybody will sell anything.
Right.
But as of right now, I love these shoes. When I saw these shoes at a Dunk Exchange in New York, the price tag, I believe, was $3,000, $3,500.
Yeah.
And I thought, dang. And this was in 2015.
Wow.
I saw this shoe.
So 5 years ago. So you did pony up.
Oh yeah.
So how many of these are out there?
Oh, I don't even know the amount. I truly don't. I know that there's 2 different versions. So there's this version, and there's another version that has the elephant print, which would be right here. I like these more.
So were these samples made in USA, or like when you talked about the kitchen earlier, are these being made? In here in America?
Actually, I can't answer that. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not sure about that. That's a good question. I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah, because most samples now
it says made in China.
It says made in China. Okay.
Yeah.
So for most people that don't know, like when it comes to Nike samples, if I could see this, on the inside you'll see like 99999. I don't know if this one has it.
I don't know. That's most likely friends and family.
Yeah, this one has it says sample in there, but it doesn't say the 999. So when you're out there shopping and you see these, you're looking for the style code, and underneath the style code it says 999, a bunch of nines, then for sure that's a sample, and samples do hold a lot of value with resellers. What else do we got right here?
These are also some LeBron denims, and I love this shoe. A lot of people that are currently buying and reselling, they don't really know about this shoe or the 112s, but you won't see this shoe all the time. Only a few heads know about this shoe, and when I go to Complex Con, Clark always comes up and gives me dap, and he sees me and he just shakes his head because he's a size 13.
Okay, that's my size 13.
Okay. A brief story about Clark Kent. In New York, 2007, I was at the Dunk Exchange, and I had on those 1 of 3 Saturday Night Live LeBron Air Forces.
Yeah.
Clark Kent, and if he sees this video, and anybody reaches out to him and asks him, and he'll tell you, Clark Kent has a collection out of this world. The mayor probably has the most expensive collection that we know of, but Clark Kent came up to me, got on his hands and knees, and bowed down because I had on a pair of sneakers that he did not have. He could have gone to the kitchen and asked them to remake the shoe, but it's just something about knowing that you have the shoe when it was initially made. And to this day, he still talks about that story. I saw him, not last year's Complex Con, but 2018.
In LA or?
Yeah, actually in Long Beach.
Long Beach, yeah.
Yeah, he came up to me and he told his entourage, like, I thought he wouldn't remember me. He's like, "Are you kidding? You're the only person I've ever bowed down to."
Right.
He said, "I'm never gonna forget you." And that was, I felt honored to know that we shared that moment.
Right.
And Clark Kent is a dude that gets sneakers given to him all day long, but I had something that he didn't have.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, for every shoe advocate out there that enjoys sneakers, man, I mean, everybody always has that one that they remember, the one that they want. And sometimes, these prices get out of control, man.
Yeah, man.
Also, I noticed on your Instagram, you have 2J's. He follows you.
Yeah.
Talk about, like, how that happened, man. Like, how did you guys kind of connect?
I went to 2J's store because I heard that he had a hottest store in Vegas.
Yeah.
So I went to his store back when he was, I don't remember the name of the mall, but it was
like Las Vegas Mall of America or something like that?
Well, that's the new one.
That's the new one. Oh, okay.
The other location wasn't in a good part of where...
Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I went to the store, and he's really approachable. The guy isn't big-headed. He's not cocky.
Yeah.
He's always willing to educate someone and to help someone. So I talked to him, explained to him who I was and who I knew. I don't like to say I name drop, but I mentioned Gary from the Dunk Exchange because, let's just be honest, he started the world's first sneaker show. There wasn't no buy-sell trade before the Dunk Exchange. So I always pay homage and show respect to them because I got to where I was and am because of Gary and Curtis.
Yeah.
So I walked into the store, I talked to Jay, and I let him know I knew Gary, and we just started right off the bat as if we knew one another. We just started communicating. And he showed me his mental vision for UN, which is Urban Necessities. He told me what he wanted and what he was going to do. And this is back in 2018, right before New Year's. It was 2 days before New Year's. He told me that he eventually wanted to move the store to another location, and he had all these plans. And man, I believe he's blessed, not just because he's a hustler, but he gives. He blesses people. He told me a story about it. He showed me video footage of him walking in the line. People were lined up to buy a t-shirt that he had dropped. There was almost 1,000 people in line. And he bought everyone in line a Happy Meal. Not Happy Meal, the McDonald's breakfast. Yeah. Everyone in line. Wow. He walked the entire line and had someone showing a video of him handing out breakfast. They were in line at like 2, 3, 4 in the morning to buy a t-shirt.
From him?
From Jay. Yeah. So we exchanged numbers. And I can't say that I communicate with him frequently, but I'll text him and he responds, which is still mind-boggling to me. Like, yo, the dude responds. I wish him happy birthday, and he said thank you. But he's a cool dude, man. Yeah. He's a good dude.
No, that's cool, man. I think anytime you can give back, whether it's sneakers or whether you're blessed from an opportunity, and I always say this during the podcast, but it's just a great feeling, man. Yeah. I think anytime, like for me, if I can go buy my son a toy or give him what he wants, like, the facial expression, and that's my child. Yeah. But when you do it to a stranger, and it's like, yo, man, like, I don't want nothing in return. Like, for me, I love talking to everybody, as many people as I can talk to. I do a lot of driving for work, so it's like, yo, hit me up, man, let's chat, or through the DMs. But it's all about just giving back, man.
Yeah, man.
And I think the more you give back, the better you're off. And it just seems like you're just happier all the way around.
I agree.
So back then, man, when you're reselling, did you offer any returns? Like if someone was like, now it's like retail stores, you have 30 days or online, you do 30 days or 60 days. Did anybody try to like return anything?
Of course. Dudes will rock the shoe, beat it up, and then like, yo, it don't fit well. Right. I'm looking at the shoe, like, one, you wore it. Right. And two, you creased them. Right. So I'm not taking no shoe back. And it wasn't like I was trying to be, excuse the term, a dickhead. Yeah. You can see that somebody wore the shoe. I don't know how resellers are with returns. Right. But back then, I was a definite get out of my face. No. Yeah. You're gonna wear the shoe, and I know you wore it. If not balled in it, danced it, did whatever, and you're gonna crease it. There was no way in the world I was taking the shoe back.
Yeah, it seems like I sold something one time. It was on Go, and it was a hyper dunk. And I'm still new in the game. I didn't really inspect the shoes. I just got all excited. I saw the box. I saw the price. I said, I'm gonna go ahead and sell it. But then they said there was a crease in it, and I'm like, what the hell's a crease? Like, it's brand new. I just bought it at the store. But sometimes when people try on shoes at a store,
you do
movement. Movement. You could put the crease in the shoe.
Yeah.
And some people, they're okay with wearing someone else's crease, but some people want to put that crease in it.
Because it's still, mentally, it's like, okay, it's still new.
Right.
You might even know that someone else tried the shoe on, but there's no crease, so you're okay with it. But knowing that they creased it, it's like, they abused the shoe.
Right. And it was crazy, like back in the day, man, I graduated high school in 2001. But when people would wear brand new shoes, we said we're gonna baptize them, like, step on them. Yeah, and it's crazy because I don't know if that still goes on to this day. But man, if someone were to step on my shoes, boy, I would want to just.
That did happen a lot in school, and you had to do one or two things: deal with it or whoop that ass.
Yeah. So earlier, we talked about Gary. Shout out to Gary for the dunk exchange and really, starting this movement. Why do you think? I'm starting to hear a lot of buzz. Dunks are coming back. I feel dunks have always been a great shoe.
Yeah.
So when people say it's coming back, is that just because the resale value of it? Honestly, what's your thoughts on the dunks?
With this day and age, everything's all hype.
Yeah.
And you got the hype beasts, and you got kids that will continuously post and repost and repost, and it just makes it seem like something is hot when it's actually not.
Right.
For example, Travis Scott and his girl.
Yeah.
No disrespect to anyone, but recently she was spotted wearing the What the Dunks and the MF Doom Dunks, and then all of a sudden Travis is going to drop his dunk. So she knows what she's doing, and so does he, and he's being coached by Kanye on what to do. But she's from that Instagram era, so she's telling him, let me wear these because we're leading up to something.
Right.
So because of him, the whole buzz has within the past 3-4 months because of Travis dropping his dunk.
Yeah, it seems like his shoe, man. I mean, I really don't listen to his music. It's not my style, and I'm not hating on anybody that listens to it. But it's like when that Jordan 1 Travis Scott released, like the hype, the value. I'm like, whoa! Not even the Brad 11s, go for that much. Like, what's going on? And it's a nice shoe.
Yeah.
But why do you think like everything that this guy touches is just like so much in resale, even like the baby stuff?
Yeah. Well, it all has to do with us having to do the raffles. Right. If we could all go out and buy that shoe, it wouldn't be any hype behind it.
I got you.
But they're limiting the pairs, and you have to actually know where to buy it. Other than Sneakers app, like where are you buying these shoes? So that creates the whole mystery. It's a hard to obtain shoe. When possibly it's not. You just have to scour the internet, pay attention to who's posting what, or just literally, I don't like to use the term slide in the DM, but hit somebody up in the DM. Excuse me, where did you get this information? Because I have no shame in asking people questions. They can either do one or two things, answer it or not. That's how I learned. By just asking questions, and I follow certain people that post ahead of time. I like to educate people on my Sneakerrachi page. When I say educate, I'm saying let people know when the shoe is coming out. I may not know where, but I want everyone to know, okay, this shoe is coming out. Clearly, these companies are making these shoes for two reasons. They want you to wear it, and they want your money. If you want us to wear it, then let us know when the shoe's coming out.
Right. And they're even doing like bans on like when there's international sneaker shops. I think it was like, I forgot the website of one, but it was more like you can't buy it from this European company or Asian company and then have them ship it, where I think that's what really creates the limited edition, because it's funny when people say, oh, these Kanye Zebras, only X amount are being released. Like, how do we know that's even true?
That's funny that you mentioned that, because I got a pair of Zebras that these right here. I had those Zebras 6 months before they dropped, and they're samples. They actually got the little sample tag in the shoe. So I had those.
Shout out to the plug.
Oh my that was my Hawaiian plug who now lives out here. My man.
Awesome. Well, we won't name drop the plugs, but also, me knowing you and getting to know you, you also have another venture that you're doing. It's called Sneakers R Us. Tell the people more about that and what you're doing with it.
I came up with the name Sneakers R Us. I don't like to fully take credit because I believe all my ideas are God-given ideas. Anything positive is coming from the Lord. So it's a God-given idea that I came up with, and I don't want to do anything out of the ordinary. I just want to make t-shirts that were sneaker influenced, hoodies, maybe even hats, but right now it's just t-shirts, hoodies. And it's just about the sneaker culture.
Yeah, I've noticed that even people have been tagging like where they're wearing it. So like, I mean, it's not just local. I mean, have you sold any like international yet, or is it just kind of all domestic, like North America?
Right now, domestic.
Okay.
Yeah, North America. I'm trying to think that my friend who lives in Switzerland, I don't remember if she purchased, but I do remember I shipped her something.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. So did you just start that clothing venture?
Yeah.
Last year or the year before that one?
Year before that, so 2018.
Okay. Yeah, we'll put a link in the description. You know, also we'll drop the Instagram page and all that stuff. But where can people find you on social media?
For Sneakers R Us, I have a page, Sneakers R Us. So it's sneakers_R_us_714 on Instagram.
Yeah, 714 is Orange County. And then how about your personal?
My Sneakerrachi page, that's on Instagram as well. It's the word sneaker with another RACHI. So one word, Sneakerrachi. Or you can just Google it, which is amazing because I literally pop up when you Google it.
Yeah, when I met you and when I started talking to you on the phone, you're like, Google me. And I was like, what? And it's true, man. So go ahead and Google him. We'll put a link and all that stuff. So last question, what is your goal or goals for 2020? Whether it's reselling, personal, you know, the Sneakers R Us.
I want to push the brand more than ever. I have so many designs. I have a hoodie actually I'm working on right now as we speak. I want to push the brand Sneakers R Us. I have this little business moniker.
Yeah.
People ask me why did I choose the name Sneakers R Us, and I wrote it down. Sneakers are a spokesman for the hip hop community, and it's a cornerstone of fashion, and it's also a part of the urban community. Sneakers being that woven thread in history, it now attributes to all genders and sectors. So basically, the way a person wears their sneakers, it speaks for them. You could just wear your sneakers laced up. You could wear your sneakers partially laced. You can wear them without laces, with a tongue. Sneakers speaks for everyone right now in this generation. So that's why I came up with the name Sneakers R Us. People think I'm biting on the word or the name Toys R Us. Yes and no. I am telling the world, sneakers are us. Right. Literally, if you're a sneakerhead, sneakers are a part of who you are. It's a part of what you do. It's a part of how you walk. It's a part of your business. It could be your business. Look at 2J's. I personally know 2J's, and he's told his story that he went from sleeping on couches and cars and not necessarily having enough money to pay for that table at the Dunk Exchange to having 2 stores and possibly going to work on another one out here. The man is doing multi-million-dollar business deals from sneakers. So that's why I chose the name Sneakers R Us, because it is right now.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. I think so much going on in the world, you know, good, bad, but it just seems like sneakers, when you're wearing sneakers and you're talking about sneakers, like no one cares about your FICO score. No one cares about what you drive, where you work, what's your last name. It's like the sneakers bring everybody together. And I met some cool people online, and some people I'll probably never meet, never see what they look like, you know, things like that. But what we all have in common is the sneakers, man. Man. So, you know, it's awesome that's happening.
It is. When you have gone to certain places, have you ever been approached by people that come up to you and say, yo man, nice sneakers, as if your sneaker is that only one in the world? And it just it's a way of people to communicate, so to speak, because a conversation could spark something else. So I came up with a shirt that says I make sneaker contact before eye contact. And the idea of this specific shirt isn't anything out of the ordinary. I've seen women actually have a shirt that says I make shoe contact before eye contact, pertaining to women's shoes. But this is not just something to make money off of. This is true. I literally make sneaker contact before I make eye contact.
Yeah, and I think it says a lot about the individual too. You know, like for me, now that I resell shoes, I'm always looking at shoes, and you know, you can kind of tell, you know, if someone's wearing an expensive shoe, you know, or if someone's just wearing a beater. That's what we call like these that you got.
My Weatherspoons, these are literally my beaters.
But I mean,
crispy pair over
there. But you can definitely tell, and then like you said, the conversation can kind of go anywhere that you want it. So it's a beautiful thing, man.
It is, man.
Awesome.
Sneakers.
Yeah. Well, Sneakerrachi, thank you for being on the show, my brother.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, man. We're definitely, you know, a lot of great interviews, man. It's got to be flexible on the schedule. You know, we all get busy in life, but I'm glad we were able to connect. You can find today's guest on Instagram at Sneakerrachi and sneakers_r_us_714. 714. Also, you can visit the show's website at aresellersjourney.com, where you can find a link to my Instagram at eBayJoey and the shows at A Reseller's Journey. If you like what you're hearing, don't forget to subscribe on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, and Google Podcasts. Remember, never forget why you started.
Peace.